Okay, friends, welcome, welcome. Online friends, welcome, welcome. My name is James Hardy. We're going to be running through a 60-minute power flow yoga class. So guys, just come into child's pose whenever you're ready. You can go into a tabletop, and then just take your knees out a little bit wider towards the corners of your mat, the edges of your mat, and then tops of the feet to the ground, big toes together. Drop your sit bones back towards your heels, and then let the weight of your forehead release all the way down, just with the arms out in front of you. And we'll start to tap into our breath. So just release your air, bring it all the way down to empty. Breathe into your low belly for 1, 2, 3, and hold. Breathe into your mid-abdomen for 1, 2, 3, and hold. And then bring the air all the way to your chest, all the way to the shoulders. Hold your full breath and relax. And then exhale for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll do that again. So bring in low belly, low back. Hold there. Breathe up into your mid-abdomen, into your mid-back. Pause there, and then fill all the way up into the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Once you've got your full breath, just relax and hold. And then try sipping in a little more air just to top the breath up. And then a slow exhale out for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, take a deep inhale through your nose like you're sipping the air in through a straw. And do a big singer's breath where you go all the way from the belly, mid-abdomen, chest, and shoulders like we just did. Once you're at the top, exhale out your nose as if you're fogging up a mirror. And it's going to control the release of the air, and you can bring it all the way down to empty. And then I want you to keep that breath moving in and out through your nose, using those muscles in the back of the throat to control how you draw in and how you release out. And this, of course, is our yoga breath. So this is Ujjayi Pranayama, the breath of victory. And we let our breath be our guide for our practice. It is our link into mindfulness, where once you start paying attention to how you're inhaling and to how you're exhaling, that is the point at which your mind starts to get out of fixing, solving, changing, and starts to tap into the present moment and the present experience of being in your own body. So take what works for me, leave the rest behind, and as I said, let your breath be your guide. On an inhale, rise up into a tabletop. And as you exhale, round your spine into cat, dropping the head, lifting the mid-back high. Use your inhale to lift into cow, so drop your belly, lift your chest and tailbone. And on that exhale, round your back into cat. And just do that a couple more times. Take this over at your own pace. Letting your breath lead the way for the movement of your body. So you're linking up your breath, you're linking up your movements. And then we'll meet in a neutral flat back, hands and knees. And to warm your wrists up, turn the insides of your wrist to the front of the mat. Your thumbs point to the side, and your fingers point backwards. And you might just do a little side to side movement or a little back and forth movement as you breathe. Or you could peel the hands off the mat back to your fingertips, leaning back a little bit, and then slowly roll back forward. So you're rolling into your fingertips, rolling into the circle of your palm, into your wrists, into your forearms. And like I said, keep that breath going. Just keep working with your inhales, keep working with your exhales. At any point that you're ready, we can take the back of your hands down to the ground. Your fingers can point in towards one another, or your fingers can point towards the back of the room. And then same idea, maybe it's side to side, or circling, or back and forth. Or maybe you're leaning back, peeling back to your fingernails, and then rolling back forward, bringing the back of the fingers, back of the hands, all the way back down into the ground. Come back into hero's pose for just a couple rounds of breath and just give a roll out through your wrists. We'll meet back in our tabletop position. And then start to extend the right leg backwards in space. Gaze is down to the ground, and you're pressing back through your heel, pointing your toes down to the floor. On an inhale, now draw your left arm forward, thumb is up, pinky is down, so you're high-fiving the right wall with your left hand. Excellent, friends. You can stay right here, or if you'd like to bind, you'll bend your back right knee, bringing your right heel towards your sit bone. Your left hand reaches for the inside arch of the foot. And then when we're doing binds, we're doing a balance of kicking and pulling. So in this case, as you kick and pull, so your leg is kicking backwards, your arm is pulling forwards, your arm lengthens back, and then your back knee lifts slightly up. Find those inhales, find those exhales. Let your chest come slightly up in space and find that length through the back of your neck. Take one more inhale on this bind, and then when your exhale comes, just extend, reach forward. You'll keep your right leg lifted, but bring your left palm down to your mat. Turn your left toes off the left side of your mat, and then take the weight to your left hand, left knee, left toes, and reach your right arm up in space. Start to extend your right fingertips towards the front of the room. So reaching from your foot to your fingertips, and then we can bind from here, bending the knee, take your hand to the top of the foot, and then just kick the foot back in space and turn your gaze slightly up. And if you fall out of it, no worries, just stay playful with your balance. Find the inhales, find the exhales. Settle the outside of the head, the shoulder to the ground. And then your left hand or forearm can be anywhere at your side, resting or pressing into the floor, pressing you back towards your shoulder. You could also tuck the back of the left hand behind you to the outside of your right hip. Your hips are up above the knees, so we've got the weight of the torso coming down from the hips and pressing into the arm, pressing into the head. You could also, if you want, reach your left toes, your left foot out to the side where your right hand is stretching, and then just press into the ground as you breathe. Right shoulder might also pull a little bit towards the right wall as those fingers are extending out towards the left wall. And when the exhale rolls in, it's cueing your body just to release a little bit deeper into this. If your leg's extended to the side or if your hand is behind you, let's bring the knee back under the hip, left palm back to the ground. On an inhale, press into it, pull your right arm from underneath. Reach and extend up tall, breathe in. And as you exhale, come back down into your tabletop. Awesome, friends. From here, start to extend and reach your left leg backwards in space. Again, you're pressing back through your left heel. Your toes are pointing down to the ground. And then on an inhale, start to draw your right arm forward. Pinky down, thumb up. And as you reach towards the front of the mat and the back, there's also this hug in towards our center line. Stay right here, or you can bend your back knee, bring the heel to the sit bone, reach your right hand for the inside arch, and then gently kick the foot into the hand. The chest is slightly up in space. It's totally a balanced pose. So if you find yourself, falling out of it and coming back into it, just try again and try to focus your gaze out in front of you. Again, that balance between kicking and pulling as we breathe. On your next exhale, just open back up, re-extend. Leave the left foot up in space, but bring the right hand down to the ground under your shoulder. Turn your right toes off the right side of your mat, and then inhale, reaches the left arm up tall in space, balancing on right hand, right knee, right toes, and start to reach those left fingertips forward, lengthening from the front of the mat to the back. The second bind is where you bend your left knee, bring the heel to the sit bone, take your hand to the top of the foot, and then gently kick the foot into the hand, a slight twist open to the sky here. So gaze might come a little bit up in space. And just breathing from that stretch we're creating on the front side of the body here. With an inhale, you can open out of the bind, and with the exhale, come down into your tabletop. Thread the needle for your left arm. So right hand stays to the ground. Inhale draws the left arm up tall. And on your exhale, just dive your left arm underneath your right. Lengthen out through the arm. And again, shoulder, side of the head, all the way down to the ground. Think about those variations you may have taken on the other side. So if hand was tucked behind you, bring the back of the right hand to the outside of your left hip. Or if you extended the left leg on the other side, you can press into your right leg on this side, guiding you back in towards your shoulder. And if you try one of those variations on and it's not working for you, no worries. Go back to where you were or try something different. Nice deep inhales, nice long exhales. With our Ujjayi pranayama, with that breath of victory, you want to hear the sound of hollow wind that you are creating with the breath in the head. If your leg is out to the side, start to bring your right knee back under the hip. Plant your right palm to the ground if the hand's behind you. And on an inhale, press into it. Reach your left arm up tall in space. Breathe in. And as you exhale, we'll come down into tabletop. And then we're going to step this back into a plank position. So just hands right above, underneath your shoulders rather. And then we're lifting the hips right up on level with the shoulders, starting to tone those biceps in towards center line like you're holding a beach ball. And if your elbows are locked, add a micro bend. On the toes or down on your knees with your ankles crossed, take a few yoga push-ups. So exhales bring you halfway down, leading with the sternum. And on the inhale, slowly lift back up. Take 2 more of those at your own pace. If you're on your knees with your ankles crossed, you want to avoid bending your hips at the top. So keep that plank from your knees all the way through the back of your neck. And then on an exhale, friends, we can come halfway down, press to the tops of the feet, inhale, up dog. Or if low cobra is in your practice, you could replace that upward facing dog with a low cobra. After you've gotten a chance to take a couple rounds of breath in that back bend, tuck through your toes and lift back up into our downward facing dog. Drawing the heels down towards the earth. With our first down dog, it might feel nice just to walk out through the dog. Drop your weight into one heel at a time as you bend through the opposite knee. Feel that spread into your fingers and then that grip down into the mat through the circle of the palm. Feet right at about hip bone distance. Hands are slightly wider than the shoulders or right at about shoulder's length. Weight of the head released. Biceps toned into center line like you've got a beach ball between your arms. Hips lifting back up tall. And then start to take baby steps on the balls of your feet up into your forward fold at the top of your mat. And you can stay on your palms. You're welcome to go to your fists or your fingertips as well. As you arrive up to the top of your mat, we'll take an inhale to a half lift spinal extension. We're here for a couple rounds of breath to really get into the shape of this. So hands can press the shins or thighs. Slight bend in the knees. Spine is parallel to the ground, gaze is down, and then shoulder blades are toning in towards one another like you're squeezing a pencil between the shoulder blades. Shoulder heads are sliding down away from the ears and the back, so there's length through the back of your neck. Your next exhale, just take that and release forward. And then a ragdoll frame can always feel fantastic. Opposite hand to the outside of opposite elbow or bicep, letting it just sway. Or maybe lightly rock back and forth. You can add any nod yes or side to side nod no through your head that feels good to you as well. Beautiful breathing. Release the arms and then keep the weight of the arms heavy, the head heavy, and start to vertebrae by vertebrae roll up to standing. Let the head be the very last thing that comes up, and then when it comes up, inhale to reach your arms wide, stretch up tall, And on the exhale, we'll take a baby back bend. So cactus the arms, lift up through your chest. Awesome. Inhale to reach back up tall in space. And on your exhale, we're coming to a flying chair. So you lift your heels up off the ground and then send your arms backwards. And if you practice with your big toes together, you can have your ankle bone, knees, and thighs all together, or we can keep things at hip bone distance. So rather than dipping your chest down, maybe like drinking bird, I want you to have the chest lifted up more like our regular chair pose. Gaze is forward in space. Elbows are slightly bent, lifting back and up. That's going to help you to tone the shoulder blades in towards one another. And then we'll plant the right heel and step the left foot back to a high lunge, lifting the arms up in space. Immediately let your thighs tone in towards center line. So stabilize through center. Lift up through the arms. Breathe in here, and on your next exhale, come back into that flying chair. So left foot meets your right, heels lift, arms go back. Awesome, friends. When you're ready, on an inhale, drop your right heel, left leg goes back, arms lift, breathe in, high crescent. Find that tone through your legs, that stabilizing effect right away. And then just one more of these. So an exhale, bring it back into that flying chair. Left foot meets your right, send the arms back. And really, you're in all the muscles of your legs right here, all the way up into your glutes. You want to feel that support. Okay, one more of those inhales that takes you back into your high lunge. Right foot heel plants, left foot steps back, arms lift. Beautiful, friends. Your back left heel is pulling forward. You're on the ball of the left foot again. Thighs toned in. Strengthen through your right leg all the way up into your right glute. And on your exhale, vertical twist to the right. So right hand behind you, left arm forward. You can keep the back left knee lifted where it is, or lower the back left knee a little bit more to a turbo lunge where it's just hovering off the ground. Awesome. Open up wide through those arms. Spine is right up in space. Think about one more full round of breath here. Get down to the end of it. And then on your inhale, you're going to warrior two. So knife edge of the left foot to the ground, left arm back, right arm forwards. Typically from lunge, you might lengthen your stance out a little bit into warrior two. So separate your legs out a little bit. And then line your right knee up over your right heel, right sit bone underneath your body. Press strong off that back left leg. You're fired up through it. And then reach forward through the right arm, backwards through the left, and just give a little opening through the chest. Let your shoulder heads relax slightly away from your ears. Find that strength around your right knee so you're strengthened from the right leg all the way up to the glute. On an exhale, extended side angle pose, you can keep your right forearm to your right thigh, or today if you want, take the back of the right arm to the inside of the right leg. So your elbow presses into knee, fingers reach towards the ground, and the back of the wrist is pressing in towards the ankle. Left arm can reach straight up in space. And stay with that breath, especially as we build the heat in the legs here. Finding your inhales, finding your exhales. Inhale, warrior two, but now straighten out your right leg. And then for triangle, you'll reach as far forward as you can and then tilt down over that lengthened right leg. You can bring your right hand to your shin, or if your right fingertips can go down to the ground, you could bring them on the inside or the outside. Left arm draws up like we were just doing an extended side angle pose. Awesome, guys. And then those shoulders are pressing back towards the wall behind you. So a lot of opening through the chest. Full wingspan right here. And as you're lengthening the right leg, stay toned around it. So you don't need to lock the leg out and it relaxes. You want to micro bend in that right knee and feel the length around it as you're stretching through it. Nice. Inhale, come back up to your warrior two, and then reverse your warrior on your exhale. So left hand can come behind you to your hip or to your back thigh. Right arm lifts up tall in space. Gaze can go up towards the ceiling if you want to take it there, or to the side of the room. You can bend that right elbow slightly. And if you came up out of your lunge, guide your right knee right back over your right heel. Keep that strength in your legs. Beautiful breathing. On the next exhale, friends, just cartwheel the hands down to frame the right foot. Move on to the ball of the left foot, low lunge position, and then we'll take it into side plank. So you could first reach your right foot back to plank. You could even drop your left knee to the ground and do what we did earlier. Or for that traditional Vashisthasana side plank, you're on the outside edge of your left foot. You can stack the right foot onto the left, or a variation with your feet you want to take. Left hand's under your shoulder, and you're lifting up through that right arm. Hips are pulling up away from the ground. That's a big part of side plank, your side muscle bodies. On an exhale, come into your plank. Lower halfway down. Press to the tops of the feet. Inhale, upward facing dog. And then tuck through your toes and reach back into your down dog. We want to watch as we return to down dog. We're not dropping the weight all the way forward into our wrists. And that's those engagement pieces, right? Spread out into your hands. Biceps toned in. Elbows micro bent. And then hips lifting back and up away. So you feel like you're stretching underneath your armpits and you're drawing down through the legs behind you. Using the inhales, using the exhales. Breathe in here, and on your next exhale, just bend your knees, look between your hands, and then you're going to take that step or that float up into the forward fold at the top of the mat. Release the head. Inhale halfway up, lengthen your spine, tone shoulders in. Exhale to refold. And then press into the ground and reverse swan dive, inhaling arms up nice and tall in space. And on the exhale, just cactus your arms, take a baby back bend, lift through your chest. Inhale to reach back up tall. And on your exhale, come back into your flying chair. So chest shining up towards the front of the room. Awesome. Finding those heels lifting. Staying with your breathing. And then on an inhale, now drop your left heel and step your right foot back, high crescent lunge, arms lift up. Feel those thighs coming in towards center line. So now you know where we're going. Breathe in here, and on your exhale, just come back into your flying lunge. Or flying chair, rather. You guys got it. The heels lifted. Okay, next inhale, drop your left heel, step your right leg back, lift up through your arms, find that high crescent, stabilize through it, work with your breathing. Breathe into it, and then one more exhale is going to bring us into our flying chair. Once again, right foot meets the left, lift up through your heels, support all the way up through your chest. So not collapsing through the upper body, still maintaining that lift. Okay, one more inhale is going to drop us, take us back into our high crescent lunge. Left foot in front, right leg behind, arms lift. Again, back heel is pulling forward. You're on the ball of the foot. And on your exhale, now go into your vertical twisting lunge. So left arm behind you, right arm forward. The height of your right knee remains the same, or for turbo lunge, hover it just off the ground. Thighs are toning in towards center line. You guys got it. Think about like one more round of breath here. Get to the end of that exhale, and when your inhale comes, warrior two. So knife edge of the right foot to the ground, and you take your time to set your legs up. So facing forward to the front of your mat, your heels are in one line, and then your left toes are pointing forward to the front of the room, and then your left knee is right above your left heel. Left arm forward, right arm backwards. Feel your left sit bone tucked underneath your body, and then strong off that back right leg. Perfect, friends. Take your gaze out across your front fingertips and check in with your breath. Inhale here, and as you exhale, find your extended side angle pose. So you could bring your left forearm to press to your left thigh as right arm reaches up in space. If you took that other variation, you could reach the left fingertips towards the ground, press the back of the elbow to the inside of the knee, back of the wrist inside of the ankle. And just make sure those left toes are pointing directly forward in space. It's going to help line the body up here. Nice, yogis. Inhale back to your warrior two. Lengthen out your left leg. For that triangle pose, we're going to reach as far forward as we can. Tilt down, left hand to your shin, or left fingertips if they come to the floor. Awesome. And again, rather than going slack in the left leg as you're lengthening back through it, I want you to have a slight bend in your knee. Feel the engagement around it. Right arm drawing up in space. Hips pulling back. Full length of the body right here. Full length of the wingspan in your body. From fingertip to fingertip. With an inhale, come back up to your warrior two. And on your exhale, just reverse your warrior. Right hand to hip thigh behind you. Left arm draws up tall. And as you press down into that lunge with your left toes pointing right to the front of the room, again, left knee's over your heel, left sit bone is still tucked underneath your body. Lift up through the rib cage. Your back right shoulder can relax down. And if you've fallen out of your breathing, come back into your breathing. One more inhale here, and with your exhale, just cartwheel your hands down around the left foot, turn onto the ball of the right. And for that side plank, we could step left foot back. We can go onto the outside edge of the right. You could drop your right knee below your hip, kickstand if you want. Either way, we're pulling that left arm up, drawing the hips up away from the ground. The more you line up the hand underneath your shoulder, the more support you're going to have below you. Check that those hips are lifting away from the earth. On an exhale, just move into your plank. Come halfway down. Press tops of your feet. Inhale, upward facing dog. And on the exhale, tuck your toes and lift back up into down dog. Take a couple rounds of breath here. You're doing awesome. Breathe into down dog, and on your next exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, and then you'll step or float up into your forward fold, top of the mat. Inhale halfway up, lengthen through your spine, and on your exhale, refold, hold navel to spine, and empty and reverse swan dive, inhaling arms wide and tall. On the exhale, cactus arms, baby back bend. So now we're going to go breath to movement. Inhale, reach arms up into mountain. And on your exhale, find your flying chair. Lift the heels, arms back. Inhale is high lunge, right heel drops, left foot back, arms up. And then exhale, flying chair, left foot meets your right. Another inhale back into your high lunge, right heel drops, left foot back. And exhale, flying chair, left foot meets the right. Okay, inhale to that high crescent lunge, right foot in front. And on the exhale, you'll open to your vertical twisting lunge, right arm behind you, left arm forward. Your inhale is to a warrior two, so left arm back, right arm forward, knife edge of the left foot to the ground. And then exhale is your extended side angle pose, right forearm to right thigh, or right arm on the inside of the leg. Inhale, warrior two, but lengthen out your right leg for triangle. And then exhale to reach forward and tilt down into triangle trikonasana. Inhale, come back to your warrior two and go all the way reversing your warrior. Right arm lifts. And on the exhale, cartwheel your hands down to a low lunge. So your inhale is side plank. And if you want to lose the breath to movement here, feel free to let go of it and just find your side plank. And then you can safely work into your flow where we're moving from side plank to plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And you can always skip that flow, right? You can always skip that and just go into a down dog. Nice. For the other side, breathe into your down dog. And on your exhale, bend your knees, look between the hands, and step or float up, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, reach through your spine. Exhale, refold. Reverse swan dive, inhale, arms tall. Exhale, cactus open, baby back bend. So here's the other side breath to movement. Inhale, mountain, arms lift. And then exhale to your flying chair, heels lift, arms back. Inhale, high lunge, right foot back, left foot stays. And then exhale, flying chair where your right foot meets your left. Inhale, high lunge, left foot plants, right leg back. And exhale, flying chair. You got it, right foot meets the left. So inhale back to that high lunge, left foot stays, right foot back. And then exhale, vertical twist to the left, so left hand behind you, right arm forward. Inhale, warrior two, right arm back, left arm forward. And on your exhale, extended side angle pose, left forearm to left thigh or left arm inside of left leg. Inhale, warrior two, but lengthen out your left leg for triangle. And then exhale into triangle. Right arm up. Inhale, reverses your warrior, so left arm sweeps up and back. And on your exhale, cartwheel down to your low lunge. So again, feel free to ditch that breath movement here. We got side plank, right hand is your base. So I want you to safely find your version of side plank. And then once you're complete with it, you go into your flow. So maybe you're going right to down dog, or maybe you're doing that push-up into upward facing dog, or chaturanga into up dog, and then meeting back in down dog. Beautiful, friends. Take one more deep breath into down dog. And on the exhale, let's side out. Bring yourself down to your knees. If you want to grab a drink of water, this is a good time to grab a drink of water. And then we're going to meet onto our backs in a moment and do some work for our core muscles. So once you get down to your back, relax. Bring your knees in. Arms around the shins or the knees. Just give a little side-to-side rock. So you're neutralizing the hips, you're neutralizing the spine, your low back. Massaging out. And then we'll take the legs straight up in space, and we're going to work with side to side. So reach your arms forward, head and shoulders off the ground. Breathe in, and as you exhale, start to reach forward through the left arm, and then you're going to move to your right arm, and you're going to weave the breath in here how it makes the most sense to you. If your neck needs support, let's throw one hand behind the base of the skull and then just intermittently switch out between which hand is behind. Beautiful, friends. We'll hold both arms straight up in space. Maybe one hand is behind the base of your skull. Feeling that flexion through the abdominal wall, through the core muscles, and staying with your breathing. Excellent. Come back into that side-to-side movement. We're here for just a little bit longer, and then we'll take a rest. Last couple. And find a rest. Supta Baddha Konasana, so reclined bound angle pose, can feel fantastic. That's where the bottoms of the feet come together, knees open wide, also known as reclined cobbler's pose. You relax the weight of the body here, your head releases, and the shape in your legs just gently draws the hips open as the knees pull down at your sides. Just relax your arms and then work with that full, deep breath. Take the hands behind the base of your skull, lift the head and shoulders off the ground. Reverse tabletop your legs so the knees are bent at 90, bottoms of the feet are pointing forward. Okay, and then extend your legs out to a diagonal with the feet together. On your inhale, bring the knees in towards you, and as you exhale, reach your legs up and then lower down to the diagonal, keeping your low back rooted to the ground. That's your circle. Inhale, knees in. Exhale, legs straight up and back down to the diagonal, keeping low back rooted to the ground. And then the next time that you lower to the diagonal, we'll hold the legs out there. Feel that low back pressing to the ground, so don't go so low that you arch in your low back. If you're holding your breath, work your breath through this. Back into the in, up, and downs. Inhale, knees in. Exhale, legs up and back to the diagonal. We got a few more of these. You are doing awesome. We're going to find another rest. If you want, as the feet come to the ground, you relax your head. Walk your feet out wide to the edges of your mat. Open the arms up in a T from your chest. And then we're going to do windshield wiper motions with our knees on the inside, outside edges of the feet. So your knees can go to the left, outside edge of left foot, inside edge of right. Gaze could twist to the right. And on your inhale, you bring the head up to center, knees up to center. And exhale switches it out, knees to the right, outside edge of right, inside of left, gaze to the left. And just take this over at your own pace a couple more times. Working with your breathing. Balance your sides out if you need a balance. Draw the knees in, take your hands to your hamstrings, and just start to slow control. It's a rock, but it's also a lift. So there's part momentum we're using, but there's a lot of control we're using to go back and forth from the base of the skull to the sit bones. Catch yourself up on your sit bones. Cross your ankles, and then lift up through your chest. You can even press into your thighs and lift up through your chest. Tone your shoulders in. Okay, your movement, we're going to do row twists. So start to work twisting left and right. Letting your chest open to the sides of the room. Staying aware of how we're handling the spine and then just working with the breath. Okay, hold on to your boat pose. So Navasana, you can uncross the ankles. You can pull against the back of the legs or open your arms up, knees bent, or you can also lengthen your legs out. Tone those shoulder blades slightly in, shoulder heads down away from the ears, and then working with that Ujjayi breathing. Excellent. Back into your rows, your twists inside of boat pose. You can come forward when you are ready. We're going to meet back in Sphinx pose. So this is just a really restorative stretch for your abdominal wall and your spine. So you come all the way down to your belly, tops of the feet are to the ground, and then press into your elbows, your forearms. Find the length through the back of your neck. And you've got options. You could take your chin across left or right shoulder. You could let the weight of the head come forward and down as you lift and back and up through your shoulders. Just find that breathing. Feel the massage of the breath inside of the pose. And I love controlled breathing. Gives us that physical massage. It also gives us that mental massage, that ability for us to tap into what's happening right here, what's happening right now. Let's take a moment in beach pose when you're ready for it. So just like you're laying out at the beach, and then you can pick your feet up in space, and you could circle your ankles or windshield wiper your legs around. Feeling the breath against the ground, against the floor. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. So you can move through tabletop, or you can just do a reverse push-up and let those hips pull back and up in space. Once you've got your down dog, on an inhale, draw your right leg up, three-legged down dog. And then as you exhale, step the foot up in between the hands to a low lunge position. We'll drop the knife edge of the left foot to the ground and then widen the space between your heels. So take your right foot a little to the right, left foot a little to the left. Inhale brings us up into Warrior One. The angle of your back foot doesn't need to be directly to the side of the room. It might be a little bit forward. But you want to feel that press down off your left leg, the lunge in your right leg, and then you're taking that little bit of a twist through your hips, reaching up through your arms. On your exhale, just drop your hands behind you, interlace your fingers at your knuckles. Inhale your knuckles down as your shoulders squeeze, your chest opens up. And on the exhale for humble warrior, bow your right shoulder towards the inside of your right thigh. It might hover above it, it might rest on top of it, or it might come to the inside. Bend your elbows slightly forward in space as you reach up through your knuckles, and then really let the weight of the head relax here. So one of my first yoga teachers, she would call this one ostrich pose. And I think it was just about letting the weight of the head dig down into the imaginary sand, releasing it down. Nice breathing. Okay, on an inhale, come back up into your warrior one. And as you exhale, cactus your arms open. We're going to move into eagle arms, which is a really great bind. So right elbow comes forward above your right knee. Wrap your left elbow underneath the right, and then try to let your left fingertips hook onto the inside of your wrist, palm, or grab onto your thumb. You could also just do bear hug, opposite hand to opposite shoulder. From there, we're going to play with our balance. So we'll come into a one-legged mountain, lifting your left knee up in space. Left knee's bent at 90. So it's tricky with your arms in front of you like this because you're in a bind, A, and then B, you're kind of blocking your vision. And it's great to have a really clear vision when you're doing balance, trying to have that point in front of you that's not moving. Okay, for full eagle, you could wrap your left thigh around your right thigh, and it's kind of like you're going into chair as you drop your sit bones back, but rather than your spine leaning forward, your spine is straight up in space. So your shoulders are stacked above your hips. And your left foot could flex to the side, or the outside of it could press to the outside of the right calf, or you could wrap your toes back behind your calf. The elbows are lifting up away from your chest, so there's 90 degrees from those triceps to your chest, and there's 90 degrees from your biceps to your forearms right here. And you're staying with that breath, pushing and pulling against your own body. On an inhale, you can just come up to a regular one-legged mountain, unwinding. If you want to add a little more to it, you can lift your left leg, you can extend your left leg forward as you lift up to your thigh. Try to avoid leaning back. And then on an exhale, we're going to swim through airplane to a low lunge position. Your inhale takes you into three-legged down dog with the right leg lifting. And as you exhale, shift forward into a three-legged plank. And your choice, you can go right to down dog or take another one of those flows. So lower halfway, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. On an inhale, let's take the lefty up, left leg pulls up, three-legged down dog. And with the exhale, you can step the foot up in between your hands and find that low lunge position. Drop the knife edge of your right foot to the ground, and then get a little bit of space between your heels. So left foot a little bit to the left, right foot a little bit to the right. And then we can rise up and that warrior one. And any more adjusting you need to do through your legs here, feel free to do. So strong down into that right leg, all the way into the knife edge. Letting the hips face forward, left hip pull back. Arms extending up as you're lunging in your front leg. On an exhale, drop the hands. Interlace the fingers at your knuckles. Inhale, knuckles down, chest lifts. And on your exhale, bow, humble warrior. Left shoulder towards the inside of the left thigh. Weight of the head released, ostrich digging down into the sand. Elbows could slightly bend forward as the knuckles extend up. And again, your shoulder could hover above the thigh. Could rest onto it, or it might be coming to the inside of it. Stay strong in your legs here. Nice breathing. Inhale, we'll bring it back up into warrior one, undoing the arms. And on your exhale, cactus your arms open. So for eagle arms, left elbow comes forward above your knee. And then you'll wrap your right elbow underneath the left, and your right palm, your right fingers are looking to grab the left palm or the wrist or onto the thumb or opposite hand, opposite shoulder. Once you're set up with eagle arms, come up into a one-legged mountain. So you're lifting that right knee up, doing your best with the balance. Full length of your body here. And then for full eagle, wrap your right thigh around your left thigh, and the sit bones drop down, but the spine is straight up in space. And it's this funky bind where, again, there is that push and pull when you're inside of a bind. But the result of it when you're in eagle is helping you balance. Work with your breath. If you fall out of it, no worries. We'll unwind and come back up into one-legged mountain. So undo your arms, lift up to your right knee. If you want to, we can extend that right leg forward and think about there's like a suitcase handle on your thigh that's lifting up in space as you're pressing forward through your heel. One more inhale to lift, extend, and then with your exhale, you're going through airplane back into low lunge. And then we're back into three-legged down dog on the inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, the three-legged plank. Your choice, maybe go right to down dog or take that flow halfway down, inhaling to your back bend, exhaling to the last down dog of our session. Nice, friends. Take a deep breath into it. And then when you're ready on your exhale, you can just lower down to your knees. Drop one of your hips to the ground. Bring your legs forward in space. Maybe a drink of water if you need it. And for seated forward fold, we'll take the heels all the way up to the top of the mat. And then from there, we're going to walk back through the sit bones a couple of steps. So we're right on the front edge of our sit bones. Bend your knees a little bit. And then reach your arms up in space like you were doing mountain, which is standing with your arms extended, except we're just doing it from the front edge of the sit bones. Breathe in, and on your exhale, hinge forward and connect to your toes, ankles, or to the mat. On an inhale, lift your chest and gaze up like you were on a road bike, extending through that low back. And then with your exhale, refold, gaze down, crown of the head forward, and then you can add or subtract the bend in the knees as you'd like from here. I want you to feel your breath. Hear your breath. And this is not a pose that someday you'll be able to do. That's not the way that this practice works. It's not a someday I'll be able to do this or that. The practice exists right here, right now, just by you doing it. On an inhale, friends, just reach your arms up nice and tall in space. And as you exhale, bring the hands down to the ground at your sides. Slide the hips up. Plant the feet. Reach your arms forward. And then use your core strength, vertebrae by vertebrae, to lower down into the ground. If you've got your hair in a bun or a ponytail, you might take a second and just release. And then you'll get all the way down. And for bridge pose, I want you just to step your feet in just a little bit closer to the point where if you reach your arms down along your sides, your fingertips can just brush the back of your heels. Feet are at hip bone distance, and then we lift up into bridge. So you can press your triceps into the ground. Shoulder blades can come in a little bit closer. Press into all corners of your feet as you lift up through the hips. Weight of the head stays down. And work with that breath. And just think about getting those hips up nice and tall where you feel that arch in your spine. Driving down into triceps, into the base of the skull. Awesome breathing. On the next exhale, just vertebrae by vertebrae, slowly lower down to the ground. And then we'll send the left ankle over the top of your right knee. You can keep your right foot to the ground or interlace your hands around the shin or the hamstring of that right leg for reclined pigeon. Left toes can flex back towards the left shin so your left heel points to the right wall. Left knee could flex forward a little bit. And then you might have a little side-to-side rock if you're holding onto the shin or holding onto the hamstring. And allow the weight of your head to release so that you're rolling more onto your low and your mid-back. Tailbones up off the ground. You stay right where you're at. If you want to do Supta Gomukhasana, reclined cow face pose, then we're going to wrap the left knee over the right, similar to what you would do in eagle, and then flex your feet. You can grab your ankles, or you can grab the outside edges of the feet. Weight of the head relaxes. Shins lift up parallel to the ground, and then you pull back on the shins, so you're pulling your feet towards the wall behind you. Toes are flexed in towards your shins. Awesome, friends. And then we'll release the right foot to the ground. If your left thigh is not wrapped around your right thigh, wrap the left thigh around the right thigh. And then allow your knees to come down over to the right. Right hand will gently pull on the top and outside of that left thigh. You're on the outside edge of your right hip. And then reach the left arm to the left and take your gaze out across your fingertips. And if your legs are super uncomfortable here, you could uncross and just have that left leg stacked over your right leg. And let your breath just work its way through your twist here. So inhale, creating some space. And on the exhale, letting your body release into that space. Come out of the twist. You can uncross your legs. Just bring your knees into your chest and give a little side-to-side rocking. Left foot to the ground, reclined pigeon, right ankle over the top of your left knee. You can grab onto the hamstring or the shin if you want. Hug the knee towards your chest. Right knee can flex a little bit forward. Right toes can flex back towards your shin. Weight of the head relaxed, maybe a little side-to-side movement. Easy breathing. Stay where you're at, or for that reclined cow face, we're going to wrap the right thigh around the left thigh. Lift the shins up so they're parallel to the ground. And you can grab opposite hand to opposite shin or ankle, or you can grab onto opposite foot. And then you're lifting the shins up so they're parallel to the ground, and then gently pulling back, trying to let the weight of the head relax down, and flexion through both of your feet. So toes back towards your shin with the heels pressing out towards the sides of the room. And when you get into big stretches, there is a tendency for us to let go of the breath, or to hold our breath, right? So we want to just remember to keep breathing, stay with it. And eventually, we'll just release that left foot to the ground. If your right thigh is not wrapped around the left thigh, wrap the thigh, and then drop your knees now over to the left. So you roll onto the outside edge of your left hip. Reach your right arm out to the right. Your gaze goes out across your right fingertips. Again, if this is not comfortable for your legs, you can do just a stack of the right knee over the bottom left knee. And then, friends, our unwind is going to bring us into happy baby. So knees out wide. Your peace sign fingers can go up to the big toes or hands to the edges of your feet. Knees are right underneath the ankles, so bottoms of the feet are pointing up to the sky. And then gently pull down on the frame and just give yourself a little side-to-side rock, massaging out the hips, massaging out the low back. Take whatever you need to set yourself up for our final resting pose, our corpse pose, Shavasana. And just when it comes to you, just when you're ready for it, no rush, you can lie flat on your back with your legs lengthened all the way out in front of you. Weight of the feet are relaxed open. Arms are released at your sides. You can let go of controlling your breath, allowing your body to take back over on the breathing. Closing the eyes. And as we find that place of physical stillness, we are inviting our mind and our emotions into a place of stillness as well, so into a deeper place of peace. Well, na 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 na. Well, na 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 na. Well, na na na. Well, na 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 na. Say na 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 na. Well, na 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 na. Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na. We're saying don't worry about a thing. Well, every little thing, they're gonna be alright. We're saying don't worry about a thing. Well, every little thing gonna be alright. So I rise up this morning and smile with the rising sun, with 3 little birds perched by my doorstep, and they're singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. We're saying, now this is my message to you. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na na na. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na na na. Oh, na 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 na. We're saying don't worry about a thing. Well, every little thing, it's gonna be alright. We're saying don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing gonna be alright. So friends, just bring some life back to your body nice and slow. You can roll out your ankles, your wrists, move into your fingers, your toes. You could take a full morning stretch, reaching the arms all the way back overhead behind you. Reaching from the front of the room to the back, deepening through your breath. And then turn onto your side, take a fetal position for a moment, just curling up. And then from that fetal position, we can come up to our sit bones. Take a moment once you're there just to draw the flesh away from your sit bones, step back, find the front edge. From the front edge of the sit bones, inhale to reach your arms up nice and tall in space. And on the exhale, bring your hands down into your heart center, thumbs back against your sternum. It's been my pleasure to lead you through your practice today. Thanks for coming out and working through your body, getting into your breath and centering. Our world needs more of it. The light in me greets the light in you. Namaste.